Students, we are going to start new chapter, so a lot of new concepts, new formulas are going to be introduced. Make sure you are completely attentive in the class, follow the lecture, take notes, and make sure to have a calculator. Okay, students, so let's learn about how to solve the questions of circular measure, finding out more complex questions of area of the shaded region, and how do you find the area of the sector and the perimeter of the sector. So the first question says, example number 1, that we have been given OAB is a sector of the circle in front of you, the diagram, with center O and radius is 8 centimeter. So the radius is 8 centimeter, which means that OB and OA are the radius. So let's write it down as well, students, that OA is equals to OB on your screen, radius that is equals to 8 centimeter. Okay, so the radius is given and we have been given the center as well, and the question asks us to find the area of the sector in terms of pi. So let's get started. In terms of pi, we know the formula for the area of the sector. The formula for area of sector is, students, half r square theta, where r is the radius and theta is the angle. Okay, so area of sector, I'll write it down, is half r square theta. So let's just use the radius as basically 8 square, and theta is also given to us, that is 2 upon 3 pi. Make sure, very important concept is that you have your calculator in the radians mode. If it is in the degree mode, your whole marks will be lost and you will get a 0 in that question. Okay, so you have to avoid that, students. Okay, so in this case we are done. That 8 square is basically 64. 64 divided by 2 we got is 32, and 32 times 2 over 3 we are getting it as 64 over 3 pi with the help of a calculator. In terms of pi, our answer for part 1 is 64 over 3 divided by into pi. That is basically our area of the sector for example 1. Let's talk about the perimeter of sector. That is basically in the second part of this question they're asking. You have to find the perimeter of the sector. Okay, so how do you find the perimeter of the sector? As we discussed in the previous part, that perimeter formula is 2r, that you add the radius and the arc length. Okay, so you have to add the radius and arc length. Okay, in this case make sure you understand that our angle is, students, 2 upon 3 pi radians. Okay, 2 upon 3 pi in radians. Okay, so let's just plug in the values and get the answer. So the radius is basically 8 centimeter plus 8 centimeter, and the arc length will be 8 into radius into the angle in radians, 8 into 2 over 3 pi. So we can say the perimeter is 8 plus 8, 16, and 8 to the 16 over 3 pi. Okay, so this will be, again we have to leave the answer in terms of pi, student, so that is why we'll say that it will be 16 plus 16 over 3 pi. Okay, so make sure you understand this and you guys got it. Let's use another example, example number 2, that is a bit more complex, and let's try to understand that example, students. Okay, so example number 2 says that OAB is a sector of circle with center O and radius is 25 centimeter. Okay, so we have been given that the radius is 25 centimeter, which means we can write this information down, that OA is equals to OB, that is again radius, and that is 25 centimeter. We have been given the line AB is a chord of the circle, and we have to find the area of the shaded region, that is basically done shaded in the part orange color. Okay, so we have to find that shaded area part. Okay, students, so this will, in this question will be following some steps and then we'll be getting the area of that answer. Okay, so make sure you understand and follow very carefully. Okay, we have been given the angle as well, students. The angle is basically, angle in radians is basically given to us pi over 8 radians. Okay, so we are going to use that as well, students. So the first thing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out the area of sector. That is very important. When we find out the area of sector, we'll get the area of the whole shape. ठीक है students, हमें area मिल जाएगा पूरे shape का, like पूरा जो sector है उसका हमें area मिल जाएगा जब हम area of sector निकालेंगे. So let's try to find out the area of sector. Area of sector, as we know the formula, that, sir, this is basically half into radius r square theta. So half into r square theta, that is basically that formula, and then we can say 1 over 2 into radius is 25 square, and into the theta, that is pi over 8. Okay, so let's try to keep it in the radians form by using the calculator. 25 square, that is basically 625 and divided by 16. So we are getting 625 pi over 16 students, okay, as the area of sector, जो कि पूरे एरिया पूरे शेप का एरिया आ जाता है, ठीक है। अब क्योंकि हमें खाली शेडेड पार्ट चाहिए जो कि एक बहुत छोटा सा पार्ट है डायग्राम के अंदर, ए बी कॉर्ड के बाद जो स्टार्ट हो रहा है, तो हमें जो उससे पहले वाला पार्ट है जो कि ट्राइंगल है, let me just mark it out. So this thing basically, the OAB is the triangle that is also not a right angle triangle, ठीक है। अगर right angle triangle होता तो हम कौन सा फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करते, हाफ इंटू बेस इंटू हाइट, ठीक है। क्योंकि ये right angle triangle नहीं है तो हम दूसरा वाला फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करेंगे जो हम ट्रिग्नोमेट्री में पढ़ते हैं कि हाफ इंटू ए बी इंटू साइन सी। सो लेट मी राइट डाउन द थिंग्स नाउ. It will be basically, we'll have to find out the area of the triangle, students, now, an area of triangle OAB, and using the formula half into AB into sine C, that is basically used for not right angle triangles, okay. So in this case we can say that it's going to be half into the radius 25 into the radius 25 into sine 1 over 8 pi radians, okay. So whatever we get, let's just apply 25 into 25 into sine. Let's make sure your calculator is in degree mode, guys, okay. 25 into 25 into sine 1 over 8 pi and divided by 2. So that is coming 119.588 centimeter square, okay. So this is the area of the triangle. So in order to finalize it, we have to get the area of the shaded region. So the area of sector minus the area of the shaded region, area of the triangle, that will give us the answer, okay. So let me write it down. Area of shaded region will be area of sector, students, minus the area of the triangle, okay. That's how you do complex questions of circular measure. So let's just finish this up. Area of sector is basically 625 over 16 pi minus the area of triangle 119.588, and you'd give your answer to 3 decimal places or 2 decimal places as well. That does not matter. It depends on the question what it says. So we are getting 3.13. Let me just give it to 2 decimal places, 3.13 centimeter square. Make sure you put the units there, and that is where it ends the question. We got the area as 3.13 centimeters square. It's time now to do the topical past papers of this chapter that we have discussed today. Make sure any questions can be asked in the discussion box.